All right, Greg, the moment we've all been waiting for. Can the Reds end the losing streak? They have a 3-1 lead over the Houston Astros in the ninth inning. Pierce Johnson, the choice to hopefully bring us home. How are we doing, buddy? How'd you shoot today?
Not bad. 82. Not bad. So I'll take. I'm usually between 80 85. I'm happy if I break 80. Not happy if I shoot over 85. So
all right,
it's all right. But yeah, happy the Reds are winning. Can we please just close out a game? No more shenanigans like the Cubs series. I know you've had to live through these shows for that. So
please, my last show. Nick comes back tomorrow. Can we get one win, please? Hard hit ground ball. Ke'Bryan Hayes across the diamond. Plenty of time. Paredes is down.
That's one. That's one, Craig. We need two more, baby.
It is Paredes, Walker, and Cam Smith due up for the Astros in the ninth. Ball was hit hard, but right at Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's in for the defensive replacement for Sal Stewart. Sal ends his day 1 for 4 and just a single. 0-1 now to Walker. Just off the edge. Trevino's going to challenge it, but that was a ball. Well, look, you shot an 82. I coached my daughter's soccer team to 2 wins today. We had a little doubleheader. And picked up a big win in the first one. I think we won by like 8 goals, but the second one was a tight one. We won 3-2. Got a goal with like 3 minutes left. Yep. So bringing home the dub. Let's see if the Reds can do the same. 8-game losing streak on the line. The 1-1 is sent to center field. Back goes Dane Myers, and he over the head catch.
What a catch. Holy Dane. He's redeeming himself. It's 2 pretty nice catches by him.
Christian Walker gave it a ride. I thought that was going to get down, if I'm being honest. And then
I thought it was going over his head.
Dane Myers tracks it down in the outfield. Is TJ Friedel catching that ball?
I feel like it's mean to say no, but I'm going to say no. I don't.
It's my fault for asking, but I had to ask. All right. Astros down to their final out. Cam Smith. We're going to talk about Cam Smith later in this one, but
he might have, if the Reds win this, Cam Smith might be the reason. He may have turned it all around for the Reds.
Yeah. 0 for 3 is Cam Smith in this one. Ground out, strikeout. Pierce Johnson looking to put the nail in the coffin. The 0-1 is outside for a ball 1-1.
Come on, Pierce. Don't even mess with putting anyone on base. We don't need to see the tying run. We don't need to see the tying run come to the plate.
We definitely don't need that. And I definitely don't need it to be DeZenzo, who hit a home run yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, got to throw strikes, Pierce. I'm not doing this again. I did this. What was it? Thursday night I did this. I'm not doing it again. No, Wednesday night I must have.
Wednesday night, because it was when I was at the concert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally flipped it on between acts. We were between acts, and I flipped it on and saw the PCA.
Oh, so it was your fault. It was your fault.
Probably.
Perfect. Blame Greg.
Come on, Pierce. 1 strike, baby. 1 strike.
Come on. 2-2 is the count to Cam Smith.
The
crowd rises to their feet. Pierce Johnson. Long pause.
Greg, I thought my TV was broken. He paused for so long. He paused for an hour. That was crazy.
Oh, man.
I literally thought my TV was buffering. He paused for so long.
He won't have as much time this time. 3, 2, the full count delivery. Swung on, ground ball, Ke'Bryan Hayes across the diamond. The Reds are winners yet again.
That's a dub, Craig. That's a dub.
3-1. Greg, for the first time in over a week, a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds just 4 minutes away. We'll see y'all in a minute.
Bench to bench. Change in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. It's the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatteberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line into right field. Junior, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce, and what a dream ending to the dreadful streak that was the Cincinnati Reds May up until today. Finally, in the win column, Reds win 3-1. All you need is love. Well, sometimes all you need is luck. The Reds got it a little bit, just enough, on Saturday to bring home the W. Welcome in, everybody. Chatterbox Reds, a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds for the first time this month. Greg, is this your first show of the month?
No, I was here last 2 Saturdays
Okay.
ago. Last Saturday. Yeah, I'm a Saturday guy.
All right. So you have been a part of this losing streak, not as much as I have, but you've had your hand in it.
Yeah, last Saturday we were talking about when they walked 17,000 people in a row. So it's a bit
That feels like
it was a month. That feels like it was a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pumped. The Reds needed this in the worst way. I'm sure we'll
my
talk
God.
about it, but they got a little luck and the big time transition by you right there.
Well, that's what they pay me the big bucks for, really, is the big transitions, those powerful openings. Who needs Trace Fowler here to go on massive rants when you get the beauty that is the intro from Craig Sandlin? All right. Look, I've been through it. I know we have a lot of loyal listeners. We do. And they've been through it. They've been there with us all along. But Greg, I've been on like 8 of the last 9 shows. Finally, a going away present for me when Nick's on his way back. We get the dub. Chase Burns is phenomenal as he is. Offense still leaves a little to be desired, but hey, when you got Chase Burns on the mound, you don't need a whole lot. And the bullpen does their job. And here we are with a winning edition. And man, it's been so long. I don't even remember like how to do this. Let's go with a recap. Let's tell everybody how we got here and break it all down for us, Greg.
Perfect. Yeah, it was the 20-19 Reds against the 16-23 Houston Astros at Great American Ballpark on Saturday. Chase Burns was on the mound for the Reds, and it was Spencer Arrighetti on the mound for Houston. Well, fast forward to the top of the 5th inning. It was a scoreless game through 4, but in the 5th, Braden Shoemake took a Chase Burns changeup that was actually down and out of the zone deep into the right field seats to make it a 1-0 Astros lead. In the bottom of the 5th, the Reds actually responded. Spencer Steer singled, Will Benson walked, Jose Trevino hit a routine fly ball to right field, but Cam Smith dropped the ball and the Reds had the bases loaded with 1 out for Matt McLean, who roped a 2 RBI single to give the Reds a 2-1 lead. After a J.J. Bleday fly out to center field that was too shallow to score Trevino, Ellie De La Cruz added an RBI single, but McLean was thrown out at home to end the inning. The Reds led 3-1 after 5. The bottom of the 6th, Chase Burns led off with a single, advanced on a balk, and then he stole third base, but the Reds could not get him in. Steer hit a hard line drive right at the shortstop, and Will Benson struck out to end the inning. Chase Burns went 6 innings for the Reds. He gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, only struck out 2, but his ERA is down to 2.11. You can't ask for much more from Chase Burns. And then from there, it was pretty easy going for the Reds bullpen. Brock Burke worked a 1-2-3 7th inning. It was Graham Ashcraft in the 8th with a 1-2-3 inning. And then the Reds turned to Pierce Johnson in the 9th, who had actually 13 saves for the Colorado Rockies in 2023. He closed it down for the Reds with a 1-2-3 inning in the 9th. And like Craig said, the Reds end their 8-game losing streak. It's over, folks. It is over. We can celebrate a Cincinnati Reds win.
And we did, in fact, have a deep, deep, deep drive of the game. Jose Trevino reaches on a fielding error by right fielder Cam Smith, 293 feet away. Spencer Steer to third, Will Benson to second. 85.4 miles per hour on the exit velocity, 33-degree launch angle. Perfect chef's kiss. Win probability, though, went from below 50% to above 50%, 56.4% to be exact. Congratulations, Jose Trevino. You are our deep drive of the day. Our deep drive of the day is sponsored by our friends at QC Kinetix. If knee pain or shoulder pain is slowing you down, whether it's on the golf course, the pickleball court, or even in the gym, it might be time to talk with the care team at QC Kinetix Cincinnati about regenerative medicine options. QC Kinetix takes a different approach, focusing on treatments designed to help your body heal and recover. They're conveniently located in Liberty Township, right across from Lakota East High School. See what the team at QC Kinetix is all about. Visit qckinetix.com or call 513-655-3356. Make sure you tell them Chatterbox sent you. QC Kinetix, better mobility starts with healing, not surgery. All right, we're going to get to that Jose Trevino reached on an error in a little bit, but it would be improper after this streak that I have been on with all of these good enough starting pitching performances that just didn't get the job, just the Reds offense couldn't get the job done. We got to start with the ace, Chase Burns. Unbelievable yet again today. He's been unbelievable all year long. Even when Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo are back. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Chase Burns at this point is your number one, is he not?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really care who the number one is. If those three are all healthy, like, and those three are your pitchers going into a series, I mean, you feel really good about winning two of those games at the minimum. I mean, Chase Burns has just been absolutely incredible. He didn't really have his strikeout stuff and swing and miss stuff today. I think he only had 9 whiffs, which is pretty low for him in a game, but he still grinds through 6 innings, only gives up, I think it was 4 hits or so. He did give up some hard hit balls, but like, you just can't ask for more than what Chase Burns has given this team. He's been in the big leagues for what, less than a year probably still. And it felt like when I went to bed last night and you're just coming off of the 8th loss in a row, you kind of tell yourself, well, Chase Burns is on the mound tomorrow. Like, you feel like the Reds have a pretty good chance to win the game when Chase Burns is on the mound. I mean, the same thing with where they started in the Pirates series. They lost 1-0 when Chase Burns was on the mound. He just continues to give your team a chance to win. So yeah, I'm with you. If he's the ace, I don't care who the ace is. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and Reds fans should be just ecstatic that Chase Burns is a Red.
Yeah, 5 straight starts now, 2 earned runs or less, pitched into the 6th inning, 4 quality starts in those 5 games. The only one that didn't qualify as a quality start because he only went 5 2/3 instead of getting that last out in the 6th inning. Otherwise, he'd have 5 straight quality starts. But man, leads the team in quality starts. He's got 6 of them now on the year, and he's been everything that you hoped for when you drafted him. I know there was a lot of conversation around is Chase Burns the right pick? Is it who else was there? Charlie Condon maybe.
Bazzana went number 1.
Bazzana went 1, right? Yeah. So there was a lot of conversation. Kurtz went, I think, like 9th or something like that. So there's been conversations, and yet every single time this guy goes out there, he shoves. He's had 1 poor outing this year. He's really had 2 poor outings in his entire career, and one of them was because he was tipping his pitches. And yet there's people out there that want to sit here and talk about that was a bad pick, or he should be your closer, he shouldn't be a starter, all these things. And yet all he does is he goes out there and he shoves, and he allows a batting average against that's sub 200. He has a 2.11 ERA. He's striking out more than 1 per inning, and that's despite the fact that he only threw out 2 strikeouts on Saturday. And yet people want to sit here and say, well, that was a bad pick, or that was a burned pick. How can you possibly sit here and say that? How can you possibly do that?
I think what's most impressive to me about Chase Burns is, like, I thought there would be a lot of game. We saw last year when he came up, he'd be, even on his games where he was really good, he'd go, his pitch count would be super high in the 4th inning or the 5th inning, and could go 5 innings max. You look at his game log this year, it's 5 innings, 6 innings, 5 1/3, 6 innings, 5 2/3, 6 innings, 7 innings, 6 innings today. Like, he is pretty much consistently going 6 innings. And again, this dude's been in the big leagues for less than a year. We also, speaking of like Hunter Green, it probably took Hunter Green 2 or 3 years to start giving length consistently. You just can't. I know I've already said it a million times, but you just cannot ask for more than what this kid has given this Reds team. And he just seems, he gets excited out there on the mound. His last out in the 6th, he screamed to the crowd, like, fired up, awesome passion. And yeah, Chase Burns has just been everything the Reds could have hoped for and more.
Yeah. For his career now, I mean, unbelievable numbers. whip 1.17, average against for his career 218. He struck out 115 batters in just 90 and a third innings. I mean, you talked about Hunter Green early on in Hunter Green's career, and this is what I think Chase Burns and what you're talking about, Chase Burns needs to work on too. At the end of the day, Hunter Green had to take the time to really build some trust in himself, and he was not really overly efficient with his pitches, and he would try to be cute, and he would not trust the stuff that he had. And I think there's times, quite frankly, where Chase Burns maybe doesn't trust his stuff as much as maybe he should. Obviously, you mentioned today he gets a changeup taken out of the ballpark. That's very clearly his third best pitch. And you don't like to get beat on your worst pitch, but it was still a very good pitch that just happened to get out of the ballpark. It was out of the zone. Very similar, really, to the PCA home run a couple nights ago that was down and out of the zone that just the guy happened to put a good swing on it. And it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And luckily the offense was able to bounce back and get some runs on the board so that home run didn't matter. But Chase Burns now, every time he goes out on the mound, you just have to feel a certain level of confidence if you're a Reds fan or in the dugout. And I would have to believe and hope that translates to some confidence at the plate over time. And obviously the Reds have been in a tough swing of things here of late. And so it's definitely, I can understand how it'd be weighing on them, but now I'm hoping moving forward, you see Chase Burns on the mound, you're going to win that ball game, go out and get a couple runs, and you're going to come home with a W.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's interesting. Burns only threw 7 changeups today. Like you said, clearly his third pitch, but the one that he threw was, again, it was down out of the zone. So like you can live with getting beat like that. And like you said, it was a perfect example. Like I was actually, if you would have asked me before today who you wanted to close, I would have said go with Graham Ashcraft again. Like he got beat the other day, but let's be real. As much as we dislike the Cubs and I don't really like PCA, he's just annoying at times. Like that was a great piece of hitting. Graham Ashcraft threw a nasty slider down in the zone, and he just made good contact, and it was the only ballpark in the Major League Baseball that it went out in. So you can live with giving up hits like that. And Burns, again, I just can't say it enough. I would have never seen him being this good this early. If you told me he had a 3.5 ERA through 1 month of the season, I said that's fabulous. His ERA's barely over 2. Like he's literally been incredible. And he's just one of those pitchers, which you just love having these type of guys. But when you see they're ready to start the next day, you just feel like, okay, the Reds have a good chance to win. And that's what you feel like when Chase Burns takes the mound every 5th day.
I realize that we're not very deep into this season. And so you can kind of take this for whatever you want. And maybe, again, I like to get ahead of myself sometimes. ESPN has a little tool on their website that I've never really spent a whole lot of time on it, right? So take this with a grain of salt. But they have a MLB Cy Young predictor based on stats, and they have a formula. Chase Burns not in the top 10. It's early. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not expecting him to win the Cy Young. I want to make that very clear. I'm not putting that on him at all. But I also am going to say I will not be surprised if by the end of the year Chase Burns is getting votes in the Cy Young race. And I know we saw it with Hunter Green 2 years ago where he got votes. I think he finished 5th in the race, if I'm remembering correctly. Chase Burns might be up there getting votes this year if he continues to pitch the way he's pitching.
Yeah, I bet Craig, for the ESPN little Cy Young predictor, I didn't know that was a thing. So you're preaching to me today. I bet that like you probably have to play for like the Dodgers or the Yankees to even get votes on the ESPN. ESPN Cy Young.
Chris Sale's currently the favorite.
Okay, there we go. But I don't care what ESPN's little Cy Young voter thing says. But yeah, you're not far off. I mean, if he continues to pitch like this, he's absolutely going to get votes. I mean, he's he's just been absolutely incredible. And there's not enough good things we can say about Chase Burns.
Yeah. All right. Look, offensively, it wasn't pretty. Wasn't a great outing by any means, but you get the job done. And we've talked about it with some of these offensive players who have been in slumps and how, like, sometimes you just need a little bloop, a little broken bat single to get through. Sometimes you just need a little E9. And that's what the Reds got in the 5th inning. They starts out with a Nathaniel Lowe strikeout. Spencer Steer then singles to left before Will Benson walks. And then Jose Trevino comes. He hits the fly ball to right field. And it's dropped by Cam Smith, who, by the way, is a 2025 Gold Glove finalist in right field. So this isn't some scrub that they've thrown out there in right field. It is a Gold Glove finalist in right field. Drops it, loads the bases, and Matt McLain comes through. And there's the reason that obviously it mattered because Trevino would have been out and it would have been different. You would have had runners on first and second. I don't know if you score 2 runs off of McLain's hit. You definitely don't, honestly. You may not even get 1 run depending on how aggressive Willie Harris wants to be in that moment. And then Friedel walks and then JJ Bleday flies out and you would have been done with the inning instead of having Ellie De La Cruz come up for another RBI single. So that error legitimately is the reason we're not still playing baseball at this point. It would be 1-1.
Yeah, 100%. And it's honestly just that break is, it felt like this team needed that in the worst way. Like during this 8-game losing streak, it feels like that's the thing that would happen to the Reds. In fact, we saw it. It didn't end up having a huge impact, but we saw TJ Friedel drop a ball in left field during this losing streak. And I will say one funny thing, Craig. No shade to Jose Trevino, but every time Jose Trevino gets the ball in the air, even if it's hit like 82 mile per hour, the fans kind of are like, ooh, they're like, they think it has a chance to go out of the yard just because Trevino hits like a fly out to the outfield. It kind of makes me chuckle, but no, I mean, that was exactly, you just see it. You see the ball go to right field and you're thinking maybe it's in the corner enough to where somebody can tag, they could tag and go to third base on that. And then it just drops out of his glove. And you had the bases loaded. And the one thing I was thinking when that was happening is like, you just have to score here. You just absolutely have to score, because if you get the break like that and then there's 2 strikeouts and they don't score,
I was so ready for it, dude. I was so ready for it. I was like, oh, great. Trevino's on for Matt McLain and TJ Friedel for loaded bases. This is going to go great for us. Oh,
yeah,
man.
100%. And like what, this team is the worst in the major leagues hitting with runners in scoring position by a lot. And you saw Matt McLain come through, like credit to Matt McLain. And then JJ Bleday, like honestly, Bleday's fly out probably would have been deep enough to score a decent amount of people, but Trevino was at third. There was no way they were sending him there. And then Ellie comes up with 2 outs and hits a single that scored another run to give him an insurance run. Like those 2 hits are the type of hits that this team has been missing, not even just during this 8-game hitting streak, but our 8-game losing streak, but during the whole season. Like they've been terrible with runners in scoring position, and to see them come through after they got a break and see them take advantage of it, that was very nice to see. They didn't have a lot of hits today, but that's sometimes what baseball is. It comes down to getting hits at the right moment and when the other team affords you an opportunity. And also they were going against Spencer Arrighetti, who's been absolutely phenomenal. It wasn't the Burrows guy that was pitching last night that the Reds should have scored a bunch off of. Today was a very good pitcher in Spencer Arrighetti, and they took advantage of it and got big hits when they needed to.
Absolutely. And by the way, that's the second time in the last 4 games that Ellie De La Cruz has come through in a clutch moment with either a big hit or a big sacrifice fly deep to the outfield. So for everybody that likes to mock Ellie when he doesn't come through in the big moments, he also comes through in the big moments a lot too. And so, but yeah, Matt McLain comes through, and the only question I want to ask you about that sequence was the decision to send Matt McLain on that Ellie single I don't know how much you even really thought about it in the moment, because watching it, it really took a perfect throw from left field. I don't remember if it was Cole or DeZenzo in the game at that time, but it took a perfect throw to get McLean. But you have to obviously wonder if they don't send McLean and you bring Sal Stewart to the plate at that point, can you continue to do some more damage? Willie Harris obviously opts to send McLean in that moment. Did you have any second guess about sending McLean after he got thrown out at home?
No, in fact, someone tweeted at me and said I didn't love this, and they sent the video and everything. And I actually replied and I said, like, I actually don't hate it at all. Like, be aggressive, especially we're talking again. We just said this team is the worst team in Major League Baseball with hitting and runners in scoring position. You just got 2 hits with runners in scoring position. Like, are you really banking on you're going to continue to get more hits? Like, I'm all for being aggressive, and I actually liked how aggressive the Reds were on the bases today. They stole some bases. Sal Stewart stole third that one inning with 1 out. Like, they didn't end up scoring, but like that reminds you of like that 2023 team that created runs when everything wasn't going well. And it just feels like this team might have to do some of that when like you're not hitting well. You kind of have to find ways to manufacture runs. And yeah, it didn't work in that instance with McLean, but McLean's got good speed. Like, again, it took a great throw from the left fielder. Like, that was a perfect throw, and that's why they got out. But sometimes you just got to make the other team make plays. So I love the aggressiveness. I think I'm always going to be on the side of kind of aggressiveness on the base paths, and especially with the way this team's hitting. Like, I think sometimes you probably have to be even more aggressive than you normally would.
They just showed the replay on the post-game show. It was Cole out in left field at that point, and yeah, it was an absolute dot of a throw, a crazy throw. So good send. Obviously didn't work out for the Reds, but I have no issue with the aggressiveness. And I talked about it on a show the other night about it felt like the Reds were trying to be a little bit more aggressive on the base paths. At times it wasn't working. At times it was working, but at least they were trying a little bit to create that chaos. We heard 2 years ago, we interviewed Jacob Hurtubise in a preseason video, and he talked a lot about how the Reds' philosophy is to like create chaos, and that's in many different ways, and carried through. And sometimes you got to do that in order to be able to break through a spell like they were facing. And so that aggressiveness paid off today, and they pick up the W. All right, we got a couple super chats to get through, but first, now's a great time to remind you, as always, that you can call or text 988 day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. All right, let's get into these super chats, Greg, because the last one's actually going to lead me into this next conversation that I want to have with you. First, Mike Dean, a collective sigh of relief from all Reds Nation. Just let it out. Let the shoulders down. Just breathe. And I hope the Reds can breathe too.
Let's go on a 9-game winning streak now, Greg. Or 8? Not even 8. Let's go 9. We'll go on a 9-game winning streak now. Yeah.
I listen. We don't normally talk about this on the show or whatever, but shout out to whoever was running social pregame today that did the lineup card. It might have been Andrew, but ninth one's Andrew. The charm. He tweeted out. So he was correct. 9th one was in fact the charm. All right, Ned Flanders, $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Pretty sure Trey said he would sell Chatterbox for $1 if the Reds win this series. I've got my financing ready. Craig gets a raise immediately. Well, first of all, I appreciate that you're thinking of me and that I get a raise immediately. I do appreciate that. But the thing was that he was going to sell Chatterbox for $1 if the Reds won the division. I wish it was just the series, but it was the division. He said
that's pretty aggressive if they just won the series.
Yeah. No Chatterbox for $1 to win 2 games. No, it was to win the division. And check back with me, Ned, because if the Reds do find a way to battle all the way back and win this division, I might have to take you up on that offer. Meet Michael Rolfe. Oh my Lanta. It's about flipping time. ATOBTTR. Indeed. We appreciate you Rolf. And look, Vandy goes back to back, leading me into my next conversation. $2. Benson has a nearly 500 on base percentage in his last 15 at bats. I don't know exactly what it is right now, but he came in with something crazy like a 1,000 OPS over the course of the last like 20-something plate appearances. And then Vandy follows it up with another chat. Benson, Blade, and Myers have our top on base percentage, by the way. And this leads me into the next conversation that I wanted to have with you. And I might give one of my craziest takes in a while, but here goes nothing. All right. Before the game today, we got this classic quote from Charlie Goldsmith, who was doing an interview with Tito before the game, asking about the lineups. And he said, "Me and Freddie sat here last night and this morning. I probably made out 10 lineups. I asked Freddie and Knapp, meaning Mike Napoli, to do the same. We came to the conclusion that we can move guys around. Maybe we will. Unless I know something should make us better, I don't believe in the lineup bingo. I don't believe in it. Some people do, and that's okay. I just don't." Greg. I need you to talk me off a rail here because I have a crazy idea. Okay.
Let's hear it.
First of all, your center field platoon moving forward is Myers and Benson. Friedel plays left field when needed. Probably a crazier take. Those two are your leadoff hitters, depending on who's in. Benson in the leadoff. His eye, especially, I've noticed it a lot more over the last week because, first of all, he's getting limited opportunities, but like watching him take at bats because he's getting so much attention put on him because there's so many different people that have different opinions on him. He did it again today, walked twice. He's got the type of eye and the ability to work a count that I don't think anybody else in this lineup has. And TJ Friedel, we know, we've had the conversation. The stats are out there. I can bring them up if we need to. Friedel just isn't getting it done right now. And you can talk about not wanting to play lineup bingo. And Terry Francona loves to talk about how, well, these guys are going to get hot. And when they do, I want them to be in that position to be in the leadoff or whatever. How long are we going to wait for TJ Friedel to quote unquote get hot? I don't know. But what I do know is that he's not even putting together quality at bats most of the time. And meanwhile, I'm watching a guy hit 7th today because of Trevino and McLean and the way they've been playing, but has historically been hitting somewhere in the 8th or 9th. Not only do I want him in the lineup anytime we're facing a righty, I want him to get more at bats. I love, first of all, the way that he's focusing on slowing the game down, working the count, dragging out the at bat. He's a high quality defender. We saw that in 2 different plays today. I made note of them both when they happened because it was back to back in the 3rd inning. If you were probably still on your way back from the golf course, so you might not have even seen these. But fly ball from Christian Vazquez to right field into right center. Benson's running to his right, makes a really nice catch in the gap, and then literally the very next play, foul fly ball down the right field line. Benson running up against the wall, catches the ball off of Jose Altuve. And 2 good plays there. We saw a nice play down later in the game from Dane Myers with that catch over his head that we talked about. Those 2 very clearly have the defensive ability to be your center fielders. Am I crazy for thinking that those 2 should be your leadoff hitters right now?
No, I don't think so. I think you're onto something. I mean, I think it was the first show I did with you, Craig, earlier this year. We talked about lineup bingo that day because Tito brought up lineup bingo. And we're like, what is lineup bingo? Listen, I'm not here. I'm not trying to just crush Terry Francona. I'm truly not. But he's talking about how they spoke about 10 different lineups before the game, and then you just run out the same lineup. I guess Ryan Hayes wasn't in the lineup today, so maybe it's not the exact lineup, but it just doesn't make sense. Like
It was the exact same lineup they ran out against Game 1 against Pittsburgh like a week ago.
Yeah, and again, what did Terry Francona say last year that TJ Friedel's job was? He said, we heard it a million times: get on base 2 times a game, and I'll be happy. Well, guess what? TJ Friedel has an on base percentage of 267. That's with no power. He's not hitting. Like, it's just absolutely, like, I think it's just Tito being stubborn that he doesn't want to move Friedel out of the leadoff spot. There's no, again, I think what drives me the most crazy about Friedel being in the leadoff spot is if you look at his underlying analytics, nothing that he's doing shows you that he's about to break out of this. Like, for instance, if you look at Tyler Stevenson's underlying numbers, whether you believe this or not, Tyler Stevenson is hitting the ball harder this year than he's ever has in his career. So you could look at that in theory and say he's kind of getting unlucky. Believe it or not, that's up to you, but you can at least see how somebody might come to that conclusion. TJ Friedel, his numbers, like, across the board, are as bad as they've ever been. And it just feels like he's being stubborn and he's not making this move because everybody wants him to, and he wants to prove people right. I'm with you. Like, how long is too long? Noelvi Marte got 20 at bats and they said, too bad, Noelvi, you look terrible. TJ Friedel, it's May 10th and he's not hitting for power. He's not getting on base, and he's getting more at bats than everybody on the team. And I know that was a Friedel rant and didn't exactly answer your Benson question, but you're totally right. Like, Will Benson has a 352 on base percentage. And I think his upside is much higher than a guy like Friedel, because Benson can hit for power when he gets hot. He hasn't really hit for a ton of power this year, but he's getting on base. And Barry Larkin actually praised Benson today. When he drew a walk, it was a 3-2 count. I think it was still Arrighetti in the game, and Benson laid off a 3-2. I don't know if it was a slider or a curveball, but a 3-2 breaking ball that Larkin kind of said if Benson's sitting fastball there, he's going to swing in that and roll over on it or swing and miss. And if Terry Francona preaches that he wants his leadoff guy to get on base, well, guess what? Will Benson and Dane Myers are getting on base. So I've always been a guy that really, if you really ask me, I would love Ellie De La Cruz to hit leadoff just because I want the best hitter to get as many at bats. But I don't think Tito's ever going to do that. He's going to keep him at third. So I'm all for Will Benson. I think I could talk myself into Spencer Steer. Against a lefty, yeah, give me Dane Myers. It's just, I'm so sick of I'm not going to play lineup bingo. I don't believe in it. When, like, the stats are there, they're showing these guys are not doing anything. And again, I've said it a million times, but it just feels a little stubborn to me that he refuses to make this change when there's so many guys that haven't been given this opportunity. And it's not the second week in April anymore. Like, it's a month into this season. The team's coming off losing 8 straight games, and you just refuse to make a change.
Yeah. Will Benson now, after today's game, has walked 13 times on the season in his limited opportunities. Obviously, we know he's not playing every day, but his walk rate is now 18.3%, which he's not qualified according to Savant, but would put him somewhere in the 95th-ish percentile, with a chase percentage that is somewhere in the 90th percentile, with a bat speed that's somewhere in the 60 to 70 percentile. Barrel rates up there, exit velos up there. So, yeah, I mean, that to me sounds like a guy that I wouldn't mind getting a couple more looks at pitches. I mean, he's obviously seeing the ball pretty well right now. I realize that you don't want to play lineup bingo, but man, I really believe in riding the hot hand sometimes. And just like every time Chase Burns goes out there, I feel good that we're going to get a good outing from him. Right now, when Will Benson comes to the plate, I feel like I'm going to get a good at-bat from him. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to get the outcome that I want. He struck out in his final at-bat tonight. I get that. But he at least gives me a feeling of he's going to put together a good at-bat. And, oh, by the way, he might run into one every once in a while and send a ball out of the ballpark, which outside of JJ, Ellie, and Sal, we haven't seen a whole lot of. Nate Nate Lowe had a little streak there where he sent some, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just blinded right now by a couple of good games from him, but it feels like a type of guy that I wouldn't mind seeing. And Big Red Machine put in a $5 super chat that kind of went along with what you were saying about TJ Friedel. He said, was it not said just today that Friedel has only walked twice in the past month? I think the official stat is that he's walked now twice since April 19th, which is like the last 20 something days. And same thing. If I just talked about the chase rate and the walk percentage for Will Benson. Well, if you look up TJ Friedel's walk rate, it's basically the complete opposite. 30th percentile, walking just 7% of the time. Chase rate, 27.8%, down in the 60th percentile. Bat speed is bad. Hard hit percent is bad. He's barreling the ball 3% of the time. 14th percentile in the league. So I don't want to pile on TJ Friedel on a day when we won a baseball game, but at the same time, watching a dude hit 7th and putting together really good at bats.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. It just doesn't make sense. And I totally agree. Like, I'm not here to just blame TJ Friedel and say it's all his fault, because this team as a collective needs to all hit better. Like, the bottom of the lineup has been terrible for most of the year and they need to be better. But it just doesn't, like, I'm not sure there's another manager in Major League Baseball that would currently hit TJ Friedel leadoff after the first month of the season he's had. And I think that's kind of what frustrates you a little bit. It just feels like he's not making a change because it's stubbornness to me. But whatever, the Reds won today, and whether some changes happen in the future, whether they don't, but like it feels silly to keep doing the same thing and just expecting different results, especially, like I said, the analytics aren't supporting Friedel. But it just feels like it's not going to change based on the comments. So I guess it is what it is. And until we see a change, then I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, another super chat, whatever. Spooky Ghost, now a member for 2 months. To the bandwagoners, welcome back aboard. To the Benson haters, call 988. To the Espinal lovers, well, Spooky has an opinion on him. He still sucks. Appreciate you, Spooky. Appreciate the support and being in the chat all the time. And appreciate you being here. All right. Ready for MILB? You got anything else about today's game that you want to chat about?
No, I don't think. I think I'm. Oh, let's go. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit. Actually, I do. Let's talk a little bit about Pierce Johnson and the decision to
do it.
Roll out the bullpen as they did. Real quick, because I kind of thought it was interesting. I think I said earlier that if you would have asked me who I think should have closed today before the game, I would have said give Graham Ashcraft another shot, because I think he's looked the best for most of the season. And he got into a couple 3-ball counts and he gave up a single to Carson Kelly, I think it was. And then PCA just made a really good swing on a tough pitch. So I would have said run Graham back out there. Like, I don't think he did anything awful that warrants him getting another shot. However, I know me and you were talking in the ninth that Pierce Johnson is the guy who walks the least amount of batters out of this Reds bullpen. Which, let's be honest, if I know we crapped on Tito a little bit there about lineup bingo, but I can respect that, because all of us Reds fans are tired of watching dudes walk 17,000 people a game. And listen, Pierce Johnson, 2 of the 3 balls he got that were put in play against him in the ninth were smoked. One was 99 mile per hour. The other ball was 105 mile per hour. But guess what, Craig? When you throw strikes, there's defense behind you that just has a chance to get people out sometimes. And Pierce Johnson came in and threw strikes. He didn't fool anybody crazily, but today he threw strikes when the Reds were up 2. That's the big thing. When you're up 2 and not up 1, you can throw it over the middle of the plate and a solo home run doesn't kill you. And Pierce Johnson came in and got the job done today, but also shout out at the same time. Shout out to Graham Ashcraft. Shout out to Brock Burke, who was really good in the 7th inning. I think just the bullpen kind of deserves a shout out a little bit after the struggles that they've been through recently, especially in the Cubs series where it was just kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it's interesting. So first of all, I think the bullpen is a little bit different than the lineup, and kind of have to go with the hot hand and matchups a lot more than anything else. You know, and so it kind of depends on who's due up and who's available off the bench for the opponent and things like that. The one thing, I was doing some research on it, and you know, obviously pitchers adjust. You hope that they do. Pierce Johnson now 34 years old. And so I don't want to read too much into it, but yes, he's not walking guys right now, but that has not historically necessarily been the case for him. The last 2 years, he significantly lowered his walk rate. Last year, he was 2.9 per 9. This year, he's sitting at 2.81 per 9, a career low. But the years before that, 3.99, 4.31, 5.02, 4.14, 4.05, 4.53. Like, I guess I'm okay with like giving it a chance, right? Like, at this point, go with whoever can get the job done. Picks up a save today. But I also think that you have to be cognizant of the fact that this may regress a little bit back towards his norm. And if it does, then you have to figure out how you want to manage that. And we talked about this as well, things that, you know, I hadn't really thought about. You go back to 2023 when he was with the Colorado Rockies, picked up 13 saves and 15 opportunities. He's never had more than 6 opportunities outside of that year. In 2024, he had 6 chances. He only converted 2 of them. Last year, he had 4 chances, only converted 1 of them. Now, he's 1 for 1 on the year so far, so maybe you read into that, maybe you don't. But when he was the closer for Colorado, when he picked up those 13 saves, he was with Colorado for 43 games, and he was walking 5.77 batters per 9 as the closer. And we all know, and we've talked about, that it's a different mentality, dude. And being able to go into a game in the 7th or 8th inning is a lot different than going into the 9th with that high pressure on you. And some guys can rise to that occasion. Some guys we've seen time and time again have not. And so I'm good giving it a chance, because I have seen over the last 2 years a vast improvement from Pierce Johnson in those metrics. But if I start to see cracks, what I'm not going to do is ride him like I've been riding Pagan. I'm going to figure out, okay, well, who's the right matchup, or who else is ready for that opportunity? I don't know. The problem with Ashcraft is that we talked about it the other night. He's what, like 2 for 8 in save opportunities for his career now, or something crazy. That doesn't get it done either. And so I don't know what the answer is. I'm with you in terms of giving it a chance, but I'm not ready to like stick Pierce Johnson in the closer role right now and say it's your job to lose.
Do you think, because obviously when Pagan got hurt, Tito came out and said it's basically closer by committee, and there's no reason to name somebody. If the Reds are winning again tomorrow and it's a save opportunity, do you think Tito goes back to Pierce Johnson, or do you think somebody else gets the opportunity tomorrow, like based on what the situation is?
I don't think Pierce Johnson will even be available tomorrow.
He pitched yesterday too.
He pitched an inning and 2/3 yesterday.
Okay. Well, okay. So take that. Just pretend he was available. Let's pretend he was available. Do you think Tito is going to say, "Hey, you're my guy for now," because he converted 1, or do you think he's actually going to stick with the closer by kind of approach situation? Lefties due up, righties due up, that type of thing.
The one thing we know about Tito is that he doesn't deal with walks. And if he has faith in Pierce Johnson right now, then that's the guy he's going to roll out there. And Pierce Johnson's the guy that right now at least leads the Reds without any walks, or in terms of walks. Big Red Machine asks in the chat about TJ Antone. Limited opportunities. He hasn't walked anybody in his 2 outings yet, but I don't know that they're ready to take him from his third Tommy John to throw him into high pressure situations like that. He's also just not your traditional closer. Like, not that Pierce Johnson is either, but like TJ Antone's up there, spinning a bunch of curveballs and a bunch of junk. So more opportunity to hang something and get it knocked out of the ballpark than somebody who maybe isn't throwing up a bunch of junk. I don't know. I think if you're asking me honestly, would he go back to Pierce Johnson tomorrow given the opportunity? I think he would, just because he trusts the pitch, put the ball in the zone.
Yeah.
So yes, from Terry's perspective, I think he probably will. From my perspective, I'm just figuring out what the right matchup is and going with that, right? Like, different batters have different tendencies. Who's coming up? What do we got to face? And that's what I'm rolling with. But definitely a valid conversation, and I'm glad you brought it up because I had forgotten that we were talking about that during the ninth inning.
Yeah, one quick note about Antone as well. I know we were talking about walks a little bit. He was walking about 4.5 people per 9 innings in Louisville in his 12 appearances down there. So he was also his stats were good, but he was walking a good amount of people down there in Louisville. And I'm with you. I just don't think they're going to throw him to the Wolves like that quick. Kind of let him kind of ease his way back into, if he ever gets to high leverage spots.
Closer by bingo.
I need a sign. I need to get someone the other day said, Greg, we don't care about golf. Can you get some red stuff? I'm working on it. I have some red stuff. I just got to hang it up. I'm moving in about a month or so. So hopefully by then, but I want to get something that's framed that says line up bingo. Something like that. I need something framed.
We just get a bingo board with all the Reds players in each of the spaces. And it's just whoever, you can mark them off as they go. You get the free space in the middle for TJ Friedel batting leadoff, and then everything else is you got to hit it.
I love that.
Oh man. All right. Good conversation. It's definitely something that we'll keep an eye on how Terry manages the bullpen moving forward, as clearly walks are something that he is not okay with, and something that they're going to continue to monitor. All right, let's go down on the farm, if you don't mind, Greg. So we'll start with Daytona was scheduled for a doubleheader today, and well, they're getting pushed back still yet again. So they got rained out earlier this week. They're currently warming up for game 1 of a doubleheader. We'll see if that happens or not. But we will see. Just for the sake of sharing for people that are watching this live, Louisville and Nashville are just underway. Sam Ben-Shoder is on the mound for Louisville and has already given up 2 runs in the top of the first. Chattanooga and Montgomery are in the top of the second. It's 2-1 Montgomery there. All right, we do have one final, actually 2 finals on the day so far. The Dayton Dragons pick up their 5th straight win. They've kind of been meddling along around 500. Now they've strung together 5 straight wins. They're up to an 18-14 record. They win today over West Michigan 5-3. Carlos Sanchez was 2 for 5 with a double in the game. Alfredo Duno 1 for 3. Kian Vu 1 for 3. Carter Graham 2 for 5. Yerlin Confidant 1 for 4 with a home run. It was Confidant's 2nd home run of the season. Alfredo Alcantara 1 for 3, and then E. Smith Pineda 1 for 3 on the day. Dragons win. They're now 18-14 on the year. The ACL Reds now have lost back-to-back games after starting 3-0. They lose today to Kansas City 10-5. Main storyline here: Steele Hall 1 for 3 with a double and 3 RBI for the ACL Reds. Hirvin Morillo, guy that we've been kind of keeping an eye on, 0 for 3 on the day, but also had 2 errors behind the plate, one on a pickoff attempt and one on another throw. So we'll see if that does anything. In general, the ACL Reds had 4 errors on the day, though, so not ideal. We'll keep an eye on the ACL Reds as they get through their season as well. and keep you up to date on all the Reds minor leagues happenings as they happen. One other note that I wanted to bring up, Caleb Ferguson pitched back-to-back days yesterday for Louisville. He'll pitch again on Tuesday, and then they'll make a decision on what happens after that. And then also at the ACL, I forgot to mention Josh Stallmont through today. He's another one that the Reds signed back in January of 2025, has yet to see regular season action with the Reds due to injury, breaking his way back. So he's out in Arizona making his way, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs. So we'll keep an eye on Josh Stallmont and see how he progresses as well. All right. Let's look at tomorrow's matchup. Sunday, the Reds and Astros series finale on tap. At the time of my research, the Astros hadn't announced their starting pitcher. Since then, they have, and it is not who I had done my research on. So I'm going to do my best to give you some insight in terms of what I have, but maybe not as in-depth as I normally would. For the Reds, though, they're going to Andrew Abbott, who is 1-2 on the year with a 5.13 ERA. Abbott's coming off back-to-back solid starts, including a stellar 5 2/3 innings performance against the Cubs on Tuesday. He allowed just 4 hits and didn't allow a run while walking 4 and striking out 4. It marks the first time this season that Abbott has gone back-to-back outings, allowing less than 4 earned runs. Abbott has faced the Astros just once. It was back in 2023. He had a similar line as his last start against the Cubs: 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Astros hitters against Abbott: Christian Walker's 2 for 3 with a home run. Allen, Altuve, Paredes, and Vasquez are combined 0-10. He'll be going up against Kai-Wei Tang. He's going to be making his second start for the Astros. He started in the bullpen this season, made 13 appearances out of the bullpen, and now is going to is converting into picking up some starts for them due to their injured rotation. He does have a whip below 1 on the season so far with a 2.35 ERA. His last outing was actually not a start. It was a 2-inning relief appearance against the Dodgers. He gave up 1 hit, no runs, 2 strikeouts. His lone start on the season so far came on April 28th against Baltimore. He went 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, no walks. So we'll see exactly what the Astros are going to do tomorrow. I'm not sure if this is like a bullpen day and he's going to, give him 2 or 3 innings and then they just piece it together, or if they're going to try and get some length out of him. I guess we'll wait and see. Tang on his career has not faced the Reds, and the only batter that he has faced that is a current Red is Nathaniel Lowe, who is 0-2 with 2 strikeouts. Kai-Wei Tang throws 5 pitches: a sweeper, 4-seamer, sinker, curveball, and changeup. First pitch in the series finale is scheduled for 1:40 p.m. Eastern on Reds TV. Chatterbox Reds will be live at 9 p.m. And exciting news for all of you. I know you've been waiting for this. Nick Kirby will be back to join Trace Fowler on Sunday night for Chatterbox Reds. I know everybody's excited to welcome Nick back from his vacation. We know that we've missed him. And for those of you listening to the podcast, I know you're especially excited because the podcasts that I put together are not nearly as good as the ones that Nick Kirby puts together. Just double checking, no super chats we left out. So, Greg, any final thoughts going into the series finale tomorrow?
I just hope Andrew Abbott continues to pitch like he has the last 2 starts. It feels like there's been some improvements. I know last time out, they kind of talked about some of the mechanical things they were working on him with. They think they figured out some stuff that chose his arm angle to be different and whatnot. So hopefully he can continue to pitch like that. He's looked much more like the Andrew Abbott we've known over the last 3 years, the last 2 times out. And then I know you mentioned the starter for Houston. It looks like the most pitches he's thrown was 42. And that was when he went 3 innings against the Orioles. So you would like to think you You would think that's the max he's probably going to throw, 3 innings or so. But I don't know. Sometimes the Reds will let pitchers throw 50 pitches in about 5 innings. So let's hope that's not the case. But yeah, great to be on with you. Great to see a Reds win today. And let's go win a series tomorrow, Craig. Let's go win a series.
Man, wouldn't it be nice to win a series? That would be a heck of a comeback after that terrible start to May that we had. Just a reminder for those of you that are thinking this through and looking ahead to tomorrow, and Greg, you just mentioned it. It sounds like it is likely to be a bullpen day. The Houston Astros, by far the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball, with a 6.12 ERA on the season. So I'm going to knock on wood, because I'm sure I'm going to jinx this team, and they're going to go out and get shut out tomorrow, because that's what they do when they're supposed to put up 10 runs. But man, tomorrow feels like one of those games where you should go out and you should just win that game 10-0, get a nice outing from Abbott, beat the heck out of the Astros bullpen, and get back on your horse and back on your winning ways. So we'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, we've seen enough of Jose Trevino pitching. Can we get the opposing team to have a catcher pitch? Can the Reds face an opposing position player on the mound? Can we just see that? Maybe tomorrow's the day.
That's right. The Astros bullpen has allowed 115 runs in 169 innings. Next highest is 98 runs from the Nationals, but they've thrown 16 more innings than the Astros. So tomorrow's the day, man. Tomorrow is the day. And tomorrow is the day that Kirby will be back. Let's hope that we can welcome him back with winning ways. For Greg, I'm Craig. This has been Chatterbox Reds. Until next time, everybody. Hope you have a great day. Go Reds.